Welcome to Hoardganize with professional organizer Rachel Seavey. Every Sunday at 6 p.m., Rachel shares her expertise and compassionate approach to help you deal with overwhelming clutter. Rachel?
Hey, collectors! Welcome to the Hoardganize podcast. I'm your host, professional organizer Rachel Seavey, and this episode is all about ancestral clutter. I have a very special guest on my show named Kathleen Okeeffe, and she will be telling us all about ancestral clutter. She'll tell us what the heck is ancestral clutter, and she's going to tell us how to clear it. She lives in Cairns, Australia, and she is an energy healer and a health coach. Kathleen uses a mixed bag of healing modalities that she's used over the last 10 years on her own healing journey, which turned quickly into a desire to help others. Kathleen's wholehearted intention to hold space for those who need to come home and connect into their heart space for a balanced healing experience. While Kathleen sees people locally, she also connects with them interstate and globally via Skype. You can find out more about Kathleen and her amazing work at www.kathleenokeeffe.com. That's Kathleenokeeffe.com. So there's two F's in O'Keeffe. Without further ado, let me bring you to this very interesting and very special podcast. Hi, Kathleen. Thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Oh, it's so wonderful to be here, Rachel. Thanks for inviting me. I'm super excited.
Well, we are all very interested in learning more about ancestral clutter here on the podcast. And my first question is, what is ancestral clutter?
Well, I guess with the work that I do, Rachel, it's all about the energetic ancestral clutter is what I'm going to talk about today. And I'm sure that shows up in people's lives when they're creating that generational physical clutter that they get handed down or they want to take off their family's hands. So, those two things are really quite profoundly connected. But, with the ancestral clutter, we're made up of DNA passed on through our ancestral lines. We get handed down our hair color, our skin color, sometimes even the way we walk. But both physical and emotional characteristics are encoded in that family lineage. So every one of us carries both positive and negative energy that's passed down through the generations. So the belief stories seem to be collected, gathered up, so to speak, since the beginning of time. We have generations, of debts and contracts and curses are some examples that were never ours to begin with, but we carry them unconsciously and unknowingly. So those emotions handed down that are seemingly there from day one, the day we're born, or can also be brought to our attention when there's a big life change or trauma. This can awaken DNA and we tend to then struggle with that, not realizing where it's come from.
Wow. Well, how do people...
Take that.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
How can people clear out ancestral clutter?
Yeah, well, look, they can. And I think it's just knowing that they can. And the first step there, the first key step is the awareness. And I think it's not until we realize that, even with that explanation that I just gave you, that can be a little bit of a wake-up call for people, and having that awareness that that's even a possibility is key to change. So having the awareness, however it comes in, it can show up in language. So one very clear sign that I've experienced and witnessed in clients is through the words that they use. So, for example, they may say things like, I seem to struggle with this, that, or the other, and I'm aware of it and I'm trying to work through it, but I feel like I come up blank, or like I'm hitting my head against a brick wall. Or there seems to be this strange family curse that affects, certain people in my family, or my whole family struggles with, or it seems to run in the family. That is kind of red flag. So again, that can create awareness that could be ancestral issues, or that generational stuff that's been handed down that's not ours. So doing it yourself, as I said, having this awareness can help you start. That's the first step to unraveling the handed down belief systems. But we need then to create time to reflect, to get a really good understanding of the story or the pattern, the who's, the what's, the why's, the where's. Mindfulness is that awesome tool that we need to kind of reach for. And that can come in many ways: meditation, breathing techniques, journaling. Mindfulness is just creating the space for that reflection and the time, the opportunity to realize things. And then once we know, we have a choice to change it. So it may take some time and practice, but just giving yourself that chance, you'd be amazed how profound the changes will come. And of course, if you get a bit stuck, the other step is reaching out. I guess the quickest possible way is to get someone like myself, or someone who you feel drawn to that may specialize or work with ancestral clearing or generational healing. So they use their ability or modality to clear this from your energy. And then that can also create space for you to continue working through the process while you need to. So, for me, I feel like we are the chain breaking generation, and doing this kind of work actually releases the burden from so many of us, and also not only from us, but back through our deceased. And if we have children, also clearing the way for our future generations. So those generational issues can be attached to a variety of different issues, and some things that are almost always carried through family lines are usually around addictions, money issues, abuse, and depression.
How can people contact you if they're interested in clearing their ancestral clutter with you?
So I'm pretty easy to find. My name is my website. So I'm www.KathleenOkeeffe.com, and O'Keeffe is with 2 F's. So I'm a little bit different from Johnny O'Keefe. And you can email me. So my website has all my details of how to contact. You can contact through the page. It has my email address. It has my social media contacts. So that would be the easiest way for people to find me. So before we finish up, Rachel, I was wondering, just to get the listeners to maybe experience what I do or how I clear it, because it's quite simple. I was wondering if you wouldn't mind being a little bit of a guinea pig and jumping into what I call a hot seat. So it only takes 5-10 minutes, and we might see what comes up for you around generational clutter.
I'd love to.
Okay, cool. Cool. So what I'm going to get you to do first up is just to take a nice deep breath in. And I'm assuming you're sitting, and I just need you to uncross your legs and have your feet flat on the ground, and just a nice upright position so you've got a nice straight spine. And actually just take a couple of deep breaths, and I'm going to take this moment just to connect in with your energy. And I know it may seem, a little bit different because, of course, I'm in Australia and you're there in San Francisco. And what I just need to remind people is a good energy healing or clearing is, time and space do not get in the way of that. We're all energy, and, we can use our intentions and send our love and hold a space for someone who's a long way away. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to check in on your energy systems first, because I'm actually being guided that way. So I want to just check in on your chakras, Rachel. And your chakras are energy systems, or energy wheels, sorry, from the base of your spine right along your spine up to the crown of your head. And they allow energy in and out of your aura, which is made up of subtle bodies, into your physical body. So, okay, so your throat chakra is showing up today, and it's not that there's anything physically wrong, or there may be, or you might feel like you've had a little bit of an issue around the throat, but on an emotional level, the throat is all about expression and communication. So I'm going to go from there. I'm just going to have a look at the mental emotional issue there. 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's around addiction, judgment, and criticism. So those three things have come up. Now, the strength in the throat chakra that we need to bring in is having faith in others and ideas. And I'm going to get you to say out loud an affirmation.
Okay.
My words are supported by love and joy.
My words are supported by love and joy.
I am vocalizing my feelings.
I am vocalizing my feelings.
I am always saying the right thing in the right way.
I'm always saying the right thing in the right way.
It is safe to express myself.
It is safe to express myself.
Okay, so first thing that's kind of shown up around those statements is a timeline. So this is your stuff in this life, and I'm just going to ask how old you are, if you don't mind sharing.
Sure, 37.
Okay, so I'm just checking from conception right through to the age you are now. So I'm gonna bring up some ages that we're going to clear the energy around. 5, 13, 20, 32. Okay, those ages. I'm going to get you to take a deep breath in and out for me. I'm just integrating the energy so we can clear that. And that has just created the space for a generational lineage to come up. It's on the maternal side. It's actually on both sides. Maternal first. And it goes back. $195 generations. Okay, let me just check in. Something about expressing and communicating and feeling safe to do so. It feels like a real oppressive kind of energy. So going back that many generations, as I feel like it's through the lineage, but it's around the women in that lineage. So it's not being able to express yourself. And as women, going way back when, I mean, we didn't really have a voice, did we? So I can feel that there was a real oppression there. There was so much that you wanted to say, or your generations wanted to say, but there was just no space to do so. So take a big deep breath in and out for me. And let me just check on the paternal side. Okay, that's 154 generations going back, and it's the same kind of feeling. There's a real oppression, repression, like not being able to feel safe in being able to express. So breathe in and out again for me. We'll just clear that up. Beautiful. And that's as simply as that's all it takes, really, is just knowing where to go, finding it, and getting you to breathe. I'm muscle testing and using myself as proxy for you. Now I'm connected into your energy. But while I'm here, I just want to have a little look around, make sure that I've got everything, and just see if there's anything more generational, because that can be such a heavy load for us. Okay, so I'm going into some power statements here. 3. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I'm coming up with I am enough. I am motivated. So those little power statements, I just want you to say them out loud for me. I am enough.
I am enough.
I am motivated.
I am motivated.
Okay. So motivated, I'll just get you to take a deep breath in and out. I can feel with that integration of energy that's held nice and strong, but I'm coming back to I am enough because that's not holding strong. And that feels like there's a generational edge to that, but there is also another timeline that's popped up. But Spirit wants me to go with the generational stuff first. That is on the maternal side. "450 generations back."
Wow.
Yeah, that's a big one. Okay, and I'm just going to look at the timeline here. 3, 9, 14, 17. And it's just, that's it. That's the ages for this I am enough. We just need to, and coming up through childhood and those teenage years, I mean, we really struggle in those teenage years, don't we, with that I am enough. We worry so much and we tend to bring that experience into our adult years. But they're the ages that it really shows up in. So just take a breath in and out and we clear up the generational with that integration and the timeline. So just to finish up there, I just want to plug in the energy of some beautiful tools that I use, and that's crystals. Okay, so it's a leopard delight. It's a beautiful purple crystal. I can send you that actually, Rachel, I can send you a link so you can have a little read up of what that means. So we're just going to plug in the energy of leopard delight. I'm also going to plug in the energy of some oils. So 1, 2, 3 of those. Spirit knows which ones you'll need. And some flower essences. 5 of those. Spirit again knows the energy of the ones that will support you best. Breathe in and out for me. And I'm just on your behalf going to say that you release on all layers and on all levels, including generational, all negative thoughts, emotions, and any feelings that have come up during this little hot seat, and we replace them with light and truth, love, forgiveness, courage, joy, and harmony. And grace and ease is one of my favourite mantras. So just take one last breath in and out, and I'll just release that little clearing to you for your highest good. And I really thank you for letting me do this with you on your podcast and trusting me. So how did you feel about that?
Wow. That was really deep.
I know it's a bit tricky. Like, I think you're really brave letting me do that because it can bring up some real personal stuff, and but that's as simple as it can be when we're working with each other, and there can be such a difference. Like, do you feel different?
I do. Physically, I feel a lot different. And emotionally, I went through a lot of stuff, especially with the first ages that you had mentioned. They were pretty much right on the dot of some pretty traumatic events on each of those ages, which was really interesting.
Yeah, and so through our timeline, through the life we're living right now, depending on what happens and how we experience life, can still remember, as I said before, open up or awaken DNA memories. They might be there, we've been handed them down, but we don't always come straight through with them through birth. They can come awake at any time through our life, depending on what's happening. So it's really good to kind of check in with the language we're using and have that awareness now to know that it's not always your stuff. And as soon as you can give yourself a permission slip to not have to carry it anymore, simply starting with that statement of having that awareness and going, wow, I get it. And it's not mine, and I give myself permission to work through this and find the ways to let go of that load. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. No, it really makes sense. And at
Cool.
one point, I thought I was going to cry, and then at another point, I thought I was going to throw up. I'm not even kidding. But it was good.
That's all very normal reactions to having an energy healing. And, let me say, after, we hop off this podcast, give yourself permission to feel any feelings that may come up. Drink plenty of water. We want to keep ourselves hydrated. Having an energy session or clearing, treat it like a massage. If we had a massage, we'd make sure we drank plenty of water to help move and shift the toxins out of our physical body. We need to do the same when we've had something energetic happen as well. So you make sure that you keep hydrated and know that any emotions that come up is your body's way of releasing. So please, I know it's very hard for people to kind of, feel into their emotions, that, they don't give themselves that permission. There's a lot of guilt that comes up with that, and they tend to push it back down. But what we need to do is have that release. And if there is emotion that comes up, it's a really beautiful way to let that go. So don't be frightened to do that. And not just you, but, your listeners, if they experience that at all with other people or practitioners.
Well, thank you so much for
You-
all of the spiritual work and the ancestral work, and as well as
No
explaining
problem.
it. That was really awesome.
No problem at all. Thank you so much for inviting me on your show. I think it's wonderful what you do, how you support people. We're very blessed to have little earth angels in this world like you, Rachel. So it's really lovely to meet you and have an idea of what you do and what you kind of give to the people in your area and around you. It's lovely.
Woo! That was heavy. There you have it, collectors. That was an incredibly intimate podcast featuring Kathleen Okeeffe and yours truly. I honestly had no idea that Kathleen was going to put me in the hot seat. And even now, as I'm recording this outro and as I've edited the entire episode, I'm still feeling some residual shakiness. I do feel a little nauseous even right now. It's a very interesting feeling. And I'm just so grateful that I was able to share that online with you guys. I'd love to know what you think about ancestral clearing. Please feel free to leave me a comment or go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's definitely going to be featured there for quite some time. And I look forward to hearing from you, collectors. Until next time, just remember, happiness is a place between too little and too much.
This has been Hoardganize with Rachel Seavey. New episodes are available every Sunday at 6 p.m. and also on the Collector Care YouTube channel. Download Rachel's Affirmations for Collectors on iTunes or Amazon.com, or sign up for Rachel's blog at collectorcare.com and receive 7 tips for clutter-free living. Thanks for listening.